Hey guys, happy 2025. This is Anne with the Stationery Junkie. This is my first video for 2025 after being out for quite a couple of weeks now. That's because I went home to my country to celebrate the Christmas and New Year holidays with my family, and I didn't have the opportunity to film any new videos while I was at home. But now that I'm back here in Taiwan, I'm finally recording my first video for the year. This video, I'm gonna walk you through my main planner for 2025, how I've set it up, how I've been using it so far for the past 2 weeks of January. My B6L paper planner journal that serves as my main planner. I basically combine both my work and personal planning in this basically an AVIC style or a half-year type of planner. Without further ado, let's get into it. This is the silver lining color. This is B6, as I mentioned. So one thing that I did when I decorated this cover is that at the front, I have a sticker for 2025 that I got from HPC by Anyang. She is a designer, creator. She has a sticker shop, but her shop is based in the Philippines. And I also included some transfer stickers from MU here. Now, the quirky thing about this cover, which I really love, is that this is designed this way, very minimalist, very pretty, very demure, as the Gen Z people have been saying it. But at the back, it's like this, which is really pretty much personifying my personality. So for those of my friends who know me really well, this is very much me. And I love that juxtaposition of very minimalist, very demure. And at the back, it's like this. I love that because I'm using this planner journal at work as well. So I just gonna make sure to have that kind of presentation of myself. After the cover, I didn't do anything here at the front matter, and here when you flip over, I just stuck a vinyl sticker that I got from my colleague at work, and I also put in my Ex Libris stamp that I got from my sister. I also did a review of this B6 planner journal, so if you're interested, I will link up the video in the cards. But here in the index, definitely I will be using it as an index. So I have already started populating it with the collections that I have, and later on I will also be including some of the key things that I want to index here in this section. When it comes to the goal setting, I did it quite differently. I took a page out of the Sterling Ink Common Planner goal setting spread that they have, but eliminated a couple of sections. So for this one, I changed it to a vertical orientation because I have quite a number of goals that I want to fulfill for this year. And I eliminated some other sections of the Sterling Ink's goal setting spread, wherein for my system, I just wanted to list down what the goals are. What do I need to do on a daily, weekly, monthly, and quarterly basis? And to be honest, when I first started using the Sterling Ink last year, that was my main planner, basically my personal planner rather, because last year I separated work and personal. So in that planner, I was kind of fixated to fill up every quadrant or every box in the goal setting. But then throughout the course of 2024, I realized that I barely referenced certain portions of the goal setting. So I stuck to the essentials this time. What I realized last year is that I tend to reference my goals on a very macro scale, especially work-related type of milestones that I need to hit, because we do have a mid-year check-in point wherein we need to check in with our manager where we are with our KPIs, and I want to do that here in this planner. So for this particular spread that I have, I didn't always put something in the daily section, but in the weekly, monthly, and quarterly check-in points, I just want to make sure that I have something to reference back on, at least the ones that I think are relevant. For example, I divided this spread into the top part being my work goals. This is not the full extent of my KPIs at work. I just wanted to focus on key projects or key KPIs that I know that I will include at work. And at the bottom part, I have some personal goals that I want to hit. So for example, at work, I just want to make sure by the end of the year, I am able to publish 20 blogs. I didn't put anything on a daily basis because I know my routine. It's not just writing or editing blogs. I also do other stuff. So it might not make sense to put in something on a daily basis, although I do have certain tasks that I need to do that are related to the blog. But I did put in some check-in milestones for weekly, monthly, and quarterly. For example, every week I should be delivering the draft or readying the draft every 1 to 2 weeks, and making sure that on a weekly basis I am researching some SEO keywords, topics, and stuff like that. On a monthly basis, I should be able to publish 1 to 2 blog articles, and on a quarterly basis, I need to publish 5 blogs. So those are very important milestones that I need to hit in order for me to achieve the goal of publishing 20 blogs by the end of 2025. So same thing with my other goals. So I'll not talk too much about it because these are all quite personal, but I just wanted to share with you how I've set it up and what's the rationale behind the goals that I have. After that, the yearly overview, which is what I would like to refer to as the future log. I've already logged a couple of dates here that are important. I haven't filled up the rest of the months, at least in the first half. So I was also toying with the idea of using this second half of a future log to replicate January to June to highlight other important things. I'm not sure what those are, but I did think about that thought because this is only until June. So for me, I probably would want to draft out my future log in the second half of this book, because usually by June I would be migrating a lot of things to the next book. So I would need to really think about what I want to do with this second half of the year spread, whether I need to replicate these dates as I mentioned and use it for something else. So I haven't really fully thought about that. How am I going to execute that? But when it comes to the monthlies, I have been doing it the way that I've been doing it with my bullet journal. If you haven't seen some of my previous videos, I have been on a bullet journal system, the Ryder Carroll OG style, using this actual bullet journal official notebook. So I've already finished this one from September to December. So the way that I do it in the monthlies, it's, if you are familiar with Ryder Carroll style, the monthly section is like a timeline so that you can log like a highlight of the day. And this is what exactly I am doing in for the monthly section. So far I have logged all of the highlights of the day on a daily basis, which I really like. And then because this planner journal has like an empty spread at the end of 1 month in the monthly section, I divided it to this kind of system wherein it takes a page still out of my bullet journal practice, wherein on the left side I do a quadrant wherein I list down what are the things that worked, what are the things that did not work for that month, more of and less of, or that I will bring over to the following month. And on the right side, I do have goals, tasks, and important dates and events. I understand that these are also some of the things that you will see in the goal setting section and in the future logs, but I wanted to be able to reference them a little bit closer so that when I turn to the next monthly section, I will be reminded. For example, in the goals, what I plan to do is to look at my goals section and look at the monthly section and put it here so that it will be easier for me to reference and the tasks that I need to do to achieve the goal for the coming month. And important dates and events, I can be a lot more thorough, or I can flesh out some of the details in the future log here. I can put that here. So that is the general idea for this blank spread. So I've already decorated all of the months. I haven't put in the same template because I think maybe it might change. So I don't want to like pre-set up everything from January to June. I just want to be flexible in case that there are things that I want to change within, for example, this section. Maybe I don't want to do this kinds of things for February. So I left it blank in case that need will arise. So again, I have already pre-decorated. I just want to keep it really very minimal. If you have seen my other videos on my bullet journaling practice, I do not actually decorate the bullet journal I'll save for a few stickers when I'm bored and stuff like that. But this one, yeah, I guess I could add a little bit more decoration, change things up a little bit. When we get to the weekly section, I actually did not do much, in a sense that here at the surrounding spaces, I have not done anything. I thought about decorating this part, but maybe it might not be a good idea because it might be too much pressure for me, or it might take away my focus on this part. So this weekly section is a little bit different because when I do my bullet journaling, I use the Alistair method for my weeklies because I need to dump all of the things that I need to do for the week to clear my head. But because this has a built-in weekly section and I still want to do my Alistair, I thought about how am I going to use the pre-built weekly section. So I did an experiment at the first week of January. We're in, well, just to give you a background, these are divided into 3 sections. There's a timeline, but for this time around, I did something different. We're in at the top part, I did quotes. The middle part, I included some top news stories from my country because I'm always updated with what's happening at home, even if I'm not searching for news, because I work in marketing. So I'm always online. I'm always on social media. So whether I like it or not, I'm always for documentation purposes. I don't know. There's really no rhyme or reason. I just thought about it. And then at the last part of this one, I would write my song of the day, because I'm sure there are some people, I've seen some other YouTubers who said that whenever they wake up at the beginning of the day, when they wake up, there's a song that's playing in their head. And that is also me. That is so me. So I'm I'm going to write what is my song of the day the first thing that I wake up. So that's what I did, because I also initially thought about doing my tallying of water intake. I will talk about that in the next page. So this is what I did the first week of January. So I decorated it a little bit so it wouldn't look too bare. I know that I'm more of a functional kind of bullet journaler, but it's a new year. I could switch things up while still using my same system or my same style of bullet journaling. No harm, no foul. But when it came to the second week of January, something's changed. And let me walk you through what are the things that changed. And the first one being, at first I thought about, if you remember, I was writing quotes here at the top. This time I thought about, I'm not really referencing anything of this. So one thing I learned about bullet journaling is that if you're tracking something that doesn't mean anything to you, or it's just for the sake of doing it, you're not going to be able to follow through until the end of the year. So you need to think about something that's going to make an impact in your life. And I thought quotes aren't, something that I don't really reference. So what I did was I took note of my daily horoscopes, because I like looking up my horoscope, and because now that I'm tracking it, I check out the websites of my horoscope on a daily basis. It's nice to be aware of it because it kind of guides you, at least on my experience, guides you where you want to focus, or what insight do you want to take out of your daily horoscope. So that's what I did here. In the middle, I do my daily tarot card draw, or my tarot card of the day. So this year I am pursuing to study tarot as a way to enrich my self-awareness and to also guide me with focusing on what's important in life. So now that I'm starting my tarot journey, so I wanted to make use of this space to take note of my daily tarot card. I've thought about starting a tarot journal because it has been recommended that you keep a journal when you want to study tarot. But I thought about, I have so many journals already. I don't want to get all burned out rather, and stop my studies. So I thought about using this section instead, maximizing the use of this planner by putting up my tarot card of the days. And at the bottom, I still have my song of the day. And as I mentioned, I put in my stairs in H2O. Stairs meaning when I'm at work, I just need to make sure I'm moving so that I can keep up with my daily step count. And to do that, I use the stairs. So I use the bathroom at the other floor. So that keeps me walking every day. And H2O is how many times have I refilled my water bottle. So that's also an added portion to my step count, and at the same time I know that I'm taking in the required H2O milliliters and stuff like that. So I tally that on a weekday though, but on weekends I just keep my song of the day, and that is that. It's so far I prefer this kind of setup and this kind of way to use the weekly section. And moving over to the generous notes pages, this is where I keep my collections. So at the beginning part I devoted quite a number of pages to my collections because other people would do it at the back, but I want to put it up front so that I am reminded to update these parts. So I have a reading log. I used to have a reading journal, but then it just got so tedious that I thought that doesn't make sense. Probably read X number of books and that's pretty much it. I don't need to write a review or like log all of my daily musings about what I've read for that day. I don't need to do that. So I just put in like a reading log of sorts. I have a media tracker. I just list down all of the media that I consume. I have a wish list. I have these things in my former bullet journal, at least the wish list part. It helps to curb my want to buy stationery stuff. So I just listed here, and I have a when did I last log and a someday maybe log and some content ideas for YouTube, for podcasts and stuff like that. And these are some of my collections for work, which is the blog, assets, projects that I'm working on, some side projects I work, and I left this page blank in case I need or want to add more collections. And then we go to the daily log. So this is basically the heart and soul of my practice. If you have not seen how I bullet journal, I have a specific video. I will link that up in the cards for you to take a look how I rapid log. So this is how it is. I have a dashboard and I rapid log all of the things that I need to do, feel, or think of. So this is how I do a rapid log. I have a dashboard and I do my rapid log of what I need to do, some events, some thoughts and feelings, all here in this page. So this one doesn't have any decorations whatsoever, and I like it that way. And this is what I mean by the Alistair method. So at the end of the week I have a weekly reflection and I prep my Alistair method to dump all the things that I need to do for the coming week. So that's working really well. I'm not changing anything, and that is how I'm able to do a page a day. Really love it. And one thing that I changed during this time is that I put in this section at least my thoughts or my assessment whenever I draw a tarot card for the day. Because I'm still learning, I try to take note of my own interpretation of the cards while also referencing some resources, whether my interpretation makes sense or is correct to a certain extent. So that's how I use it. So that's why I'm able to at least fill up that generous space that you have here, because this is not like the 5mm dot grid of the bullet journal official notebook. So this one is how I've been doing it, integrating my tarot practice with my daily log. Maybe that will be a bit confusing or too much for some people, but I like seeing it all together, my personal and work related tasks, because I don't want to reference so many notebooks for one thing or like my personal to-dos with my work to-dos. If it just lives on one book, ideally on one page, that's the best, because I don't have time for all of that. So that's how I've been using these daily pages, and that's pretty much how I've been using this. It's been really great so far. Now that I am integrating a structured planner system plus bullet journaling, I really love that system because essentially I can live in just this one book. But as you know, my 2025 planner lineup involved a couple more planners and journals, which I will talk about in future videos. So if you're interested, please feel free to comment if you have any questions. And as always, I thank you for your time in watching this video. As always, I will see you in the next video, guys. Thank you so much.